Thank you for coming to pray the Stations of the Cross with us today. Meditating on the way of the cross has been a tradition for centuries. What will happen here is not a play or a performance, but an experience of prayer and reflection. This year, we have chosen to experience the last days of Jesus' life through the eyes of Mary, his mother, for she knew him better than anyone. Her pain during those last hours of Christ's life was second only to his. From the moment Mary said yes to God's plan for her life, she experienced both profound joy and extreme anguish. Today, as we pray, we share in her agonizing sadness as she leads us to know and love her Son more deeply by following the way of the cross.
Why me? I am just an ordinary girl, a poor, ordinary Jewish girl. None of this can be possible. Can it or can it? Let it be done to me according to thy word. Such a beautiful boy. He grew so fast, such a joy. There were always signs. He didn't just pray. Oh no, he had to run off to the house of his father to pray. And when he preached, it was with such love. I knew who he was. It was so obvious. But the others did not want to believe, for believing would have shattered their world. So the world shattered him. Oh, at first they welcomed him. They wanted to hear him preach, as I did so many times. They wanted Jesus to heal them. They wanted to see him and touch him. They chanted for him as he entered their city. They all said they wanted to be his friends, but I knew that Jerusalem was a dangerous place. Crowds adoring cheers. His enemies were strong. They were powerful, and my son challenged their authority. So they wanted to get rid of him. Funny thing, earthly power was the last thing Jesus wanted. I knew that the hour had to come shortly after our Passover meal. He went out to the garden to pray. Jesus asked his friends to stay with him and comfort him, but they couldn't even give him that. He prayed alone and became exceedingly troubled. fell to his knees, saying, Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me, yet not as I will, but as you will. My heart stopped, my throat closed. They came and took my son from me.
It was early Friday morning when I saw my son. That was the first glimpse I had of him since they took him away. His bruised and bleeding skin sent a sort of pain deep into my heart and tears down my cheeks. Then Pilate, from his chair of judgment, asked the crowd why they wanted my son executed. All around me they shouted,
"Crucify him!"
I wanted to plead with them to stop, but I knew this had to be, so I stood by and cried silently.
Lord, let me walk and love and go with you under the weight of the world. Lord, let me walk and ask you to under the weight of the world. Freedom can be bought, laid down under the weight of the world.
The second station. Jesus takes his cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you.
Because by the cross you have redeemed the world.
Regaining a little strength, I walked with the crowds to the entrance of the square. A door flew open, and my son stumbled out, the guards laughing behind him. Two men dragged over a heavy wooden cross and dropped it on his shoulders. Then they shoved him down the road. My pain for him was unbearable, and I wanted to take the cross from him and carry it myself. But I knew this had to be, so I walked on silently.
Let us bring our burdens to the cross of Christ, who has known our sorrow and tears. In the great compassion of the heart of Christ, God has walked in our hopes and fears. He was mocked and betrayed, deserted for a friend, and perished to die among thieves. Let us ever glory in the cross of Christ and the triumph of God's great love.
The third station. Jesus falls the first time. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you.
Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
I followed close behind my son as he stumbled towards Calvary. Nothing had ever hurt me more than to see him in such pain. I saw the cross digging into his shoulders. My heart dropped when I saw him fall, face to the ground. The heavy cross landed squarely on his back. For a moment, I thought my beloved son was dead. Now my whole body began to tremble. Then the guards kicked him. He rose slowly and began to walk again. Yet they still whipped him. I wanted to protect him with my own body, but I knew this had to be, so I walked on and wept silently.
Let us ever glory in the cross of Christ, as
We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you.
Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
I managed to break through the crowd and was walking side by side with my son. I called to him through the shouting voices. He stopped. Our eyes met. Mine full of tears of anguish, his full of pain and confusion. I felt helpless. Then his eyes said to me, "Courage, there is a purpose for this." As he stumbled on, I knew he was right, so I followed and prayed silently. The fifth station. Simon helps Jesus carry his cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you.
Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
I can now see almost complete helplessness on the face of my son as he tried to carry his heavy load. Each step looked as if it would be his last. I felt his every pain in my heart, and I wanted the whole thing to end. Then I noticed some commotion near Jesus. The guards had pulled a protesting man from the crowd. They forced him to pick up the back of the cross to help lighten my son's load. He asked the guards why this had to be. I knew, and so followed silently.
Sixth station. Veronica wipes the face of Jesus. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you.
Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
As I continued close by Jesus, a woman pushed past the guards, took off her veil, and began to wipe my son's sweating, bloody face. The guards immediately pulled her back. Her face seemed to say, "Why are you doing this to him?" I knew. So I walked on in faith silently.
God is calling me, God is calling me, in all his cries and earth. God is calling me, God is calling me, to raise up the voice with no power or choice. God is calling me, and to tell the world that God's kingdom is near, and to burn oppression and break down fear. Yes, God's time is near, God's time is near, God's time is near, God's time is near.
The seventh station. Jesus falls the second time. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you.
Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
Again, my son fell, and again, my grief was overwhelming at the thought that he might die. I started to move toward him, but the soldiers prevented me. He rose and stumbled ahead slowly. Seeing my son fall, get up again, and continue on was bitter anguish to me. But since I knew this had to be, I walked on silently.
Let us celebrate glory in the cross of Christ, who redeems us with his blood. Let us
I was walking a few steps behind Jesus when I saw him stop. Some women were there, crying for him and pitying him. He told them not to shed tears for him. He told them to shed tears for themselves, tears that would bring their conversion. As he walked on, I followed silently. The ninth station, Jesus falls the third time. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you.
Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
This fall of Jesus was agony to me. Not only had he fallen on the rocky ground again, but now he was almost at the top of the hill of crucifixion. The soldiers screamed at him and abused him, almost dragging him the last few steps. My heart pounded as I imagined what they would do to him next, but I knew this had to be, so I climbed the hill silently behind him. Station, Jesus is stripped of his garments. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you.
Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
With my son finally relieved of the weight of the cross, I thought he would have a chance to rest, but the guards immediately started to rip his clothes off his blood-clotted skin. The sight of my son in such pain was unbearable, yet since I knew this had to be, I stood by and cried silently.
The 11th station, Jesus is nailed to the cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you.
Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
As they threw Jesus on the cross, he willingly allowed himself to be nailed. As they punctured his hands and his feet, I felt the pain in my heart. Then they lifted up the cross. There he was, my son, whom I loved so much, being scorned as he struggled for the last few moments of earthly life. But I knew this had to be, so I stood by and prayed silently.
Thank you.
The 12th station, Jesus dies on the cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you.
Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
What greater pain is there for a mother than to see her son die right before her eyes? I, who had brought the Savior into the world and watched him grow, stood helplessly beneath his cross as he lowered his head and died. His earthly anguish was finished, but mine was greater than ever. Yet this had to be, and I had to accept it, so I stood by and I mourned silently.
The 13th station, Jesus is taken from the cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you.
Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
The crowd had gone, the noise had stopped. I stood quietly with one of Jesus' friends and looked up at the dead body of our Savior, my son. Then 2 men took the body from the cross and placed it in my arms. A deep sorrow engulfed my being, yet I also felt deep joy. Life had ended cruelly for my son, but it had also brought life to all of us. I knew this had to be, and I prayed silently. The 14th station, Jesus is placed in the tomb. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you.
Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
The soldiers came and took his limp body from me. I took one last look at my son and went away. The soldiers took him to his rest.
Oh
The 15th station. Jesus is raised from the dead. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you.
Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
I could only be most grateful for the sacrifice of my Son for us. Yet, what emptiness I felt trying to live without him, whom I loved so much. But only 2 days later, that emptiness was filled beyond belief. He had risen. Our Savior had opened the doors to a new life. That is the way it had to be, because his undying love for you would not stop at anything less. I could rejoice forever, but not in silence.
My Savior, thank you. Thank you for such endless love that helps me to rise out of my own sinfulness. I will try again to live a better life. Help me to always remember that love. Mary, Mother of our risen Savior, teach me to be like you, and in my love for others, love him and eternally.